Okay, so you've successfully set up your website with a blank template. When you first log into Wix, you're probably going to be on this page. This is your dashboard, which has some controls for your website, but for the most part, we are not going to be using them. What matters for us is this button in the top right, which will say Edit Site or Design Site. When you click on that button, it will open the editor. Once the editor loads, you'll see something kind of like this. It'll be a white page with these gray lines. As you move your mouse around, you will notice that different sections light up. This top section is called the header, and it is orange. The header is a section that is the same on every single page of your website. Right now, you only have a home page, but if you design this section to look a certain way, it will appear that way at the top of every page on your website. So think about the things that are specific to this page and the things that you want on every page. The bottom section is also orange, and it is called the footer. Like the header, the footer will show up the same on every single page of your website. This section in the middle is an empty blank section that is specific to this page. What that means is that anything I put inside here will only show up on my home page. You'll also notice that there are gray lines on the side here. These gray lines indicate where the edge of your website is. While there may be some things that show up beyond, Wix will try to keep anything that's inside these gray lines visible on your website, whether that's on a phone, on a laptop, or on a computer. So generally, we want to keep our content within these gray lines. Now, how do we actually add things to our website? You'll see on the left here, there are some buttons. Add element, add section, pages and menu, site design. These are the ones we're going to be using for the most part, beginning with add elements. If I click on it, you'll see there are a lot of different types of elements we can add. Text, images, buttons. I could add a gallery with lots of images, a menu once I have more than one page. I could embed some video, lots of different options here. We're going to start up here with text, and I want to add something into my header that says who I am and what this website is. So if I click and drag it here, you'll see it says attach to header, and it's now placed at that spot in the header. I could change this to say my name, for example, Mr. Craig, and now that will show up at the top of every page. I think I also want some other text, maybe one of these, to go beneath it. And in here, I'll put design, maybe with some spaces in between. And then bring that closer. There we go. I now have a start to my website. This section down here right now is empty. It is good practice when you're making websites to add sections and to keep different parts of your page separate. So for example, if I click add section, you'll see I now have two different purple sections here for this home page. I can make this one bigger or smaller by dragging this grabber here. But I have two sections so that this top one can be an About Me section and the lower one can start introducing my projects. I'm going to go ahead and add some text here. And you'll see it, I accidentally put it in the header. I can just click and drag it to bring it back down to this section below. Now that I have it placed, I can click Edit Text, and that gives me more options for that text. I could change its color, a highlight color. I could make it a link, so when you click on it, it goes somewhere specific. I could change the font. In this case, I want to make sure that it's in the center, so it shows up in the middle of my website. I could also make the text smaller, which I think I will do. Something like that. And then I want this to say, About Me. Now I can go ahead and add text below that says something about me. So maybe a paragraph like this. We'll bring it in, put it over on the side somewhere like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and write up something about me real quick. Okay, now that I have some text about me, I think I probably want to put an image on the right here. Remember that any image you put on your website will be public to everyone, and you need to be sure that it is an image you are okay with having online. I'm going to go to the plus here and add image, and I'm going to go ahead and upload an image here. Once clicking on that, I would click on upload from computer and then find my image wherever I saved it. In this case, I've already uploaded mine, so I'm going to add it to the page here. It's nice and big. I want it definitely smaller, so maybe like that. I think I want to put it on this side, and then this might actually work better with the text on the left. So let me select that and move it over. Now this is pretty simple. I expect you guys to do a more complex, more creative version based off the wireframes that you started drawing last week. But as you can see, I have a start to my website. Now I'm noticing that the header is too big. There's too much extra space here. So I'm going to use this grabber to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Now I'm going to go down to this other section, and this is where I want to start showing off my projects. So if I go to plus, maybe I would add some text that says my projects or my work, something like that. And once again, I would probably want to make this centered. I could now add images, which I could later make into links, so when you click on them, they go to that project. Because we haven't made any projects yet, we can just use some of these images as templates, which we can replace later. So if I add this image and then make it smaller, something like that, that looks good. Now, with this selected, I can press Command C to copy and Command V to paste. And I could put another one, for example, over on this side. There we go. I could slowly add to this, getting my 7 projects ready. As you're working, you're going to want to click Publish in the top right every so often so that your website is made public to the world. Once it's public, you can click View Site here, or you can hover on Publish and click View Site here. This is the public version of your website, which anyone can now go and see using this link. This link is the one that you need to copy and send to me in Google Classroom so that I can see your work. As we're designing, we want to check to see how the actual version of our website looks to see if there are any problems. For example, if I scroll, you'll notice that the text in my header conflicts with the text that is beneath it, and now I can't read either of them. So I want to change some settings with my header. I'm going to go back to the editor, and I'm going to click on my header, and then come over here to the 3 dots. There are several options here, including changing some scroll settings, but in this case, I want to change header design. This gives me options to make the color of the header a certain way. For example, I think I want it to be white, so I'm going to turn that white all the way up to 100%. It's now white. And then maybe when I scroll, I want to turn that on, but I want to make it gray. Now, if I hit publish, it will update that live version of my website, and I can go to my website, refresh, and see the changes. So when I scroll now, you'll see it turns to gray, and it's solid. So everything beneath it doesn't interfere with the text up here, or the menu once I add the menu. Good. Now, we can go back to the editor, And at this point, you know all of the basics of working with Wix. You should be able to design your home page using that wireframe from before to be complete. So focus on finishing that today, and then tomorrow we will talk about how to add your project pages and some other things to your website. I can't wait to see what you make.